So this last chapter on data collection, probability, and finite. So in elementary school, remember how you like hold a piece of paper and a pencil and you went around the class asking your classmates, how did you get to school today? Oh, okay, bus or walking or drop off and so forth. And that's how you collected your data back in the good old days when it was that simple. All right. But now, of course, if we want a more meaningful survey, we have to put more effort into it. So we can't just be like, how did you get to school? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? What's your favorite color, and so forth. We have to ask questions on the survey. So one problem when you ask the survey is bias. So, uh, so suppose you ask, do you think the price of a movie ticket is too high? What's wrong with that question?
Because there could be like some bad things out, so buying a movie ticket might not seem appealing.
Okay, but I'm asking if it's too high. Yeah, right. It's bias. It wants you to say yes. Okay, so you can't ask that in a survey. Use of language. So, don't you think the price of tickets is too high? Again, the use of language, you're making them say yes. Timing. Um, so, for example, you want to do a survey about winter tires and you ask them in August versus in December. All right, so the timing of the survey is also could also pose a problem. Privacy. So you know how in a lot of surveys they would ask you, instead of saying how old are you, what do they do? Well, that's still a very specific age group, right? So like if you ever, when was the last time you guys filled out a survey? Yeah, so I feel that not many people fill out surveys nowadays. Yeah, but if you did do one, like for example, the Tim Hortons one where they try to get you to do a survey and give you a free coffee for it. Yeah, they don't ask you how old are you. They give you a range and then you just select. Cultural sensitivity. So if they say, "What's your favorite kind of ham?" What's wrong with that? Yeah, some people don't eat pork, right? So cultural sensitivity there. Ethnic. So let's say you ask your friends what's their favorite snack, and then as a survey, and then you use that information and to sell them their favorite snack during break time. Right, so that's not very ethnic. Cost. So back in the old days, how did they do surveys? Papers, right? They would head out those papers, and then you have to fill it out and you give it back. So the paper it costs to print those surveys. Now there's Google Forms and all that, but then still, if you don't have internet connection, you can't fill out any survey. And then also timing. So how you complete that survey, it also takes time to conduct that. Right? So these are the potential problems that you may have when conducting your survey. Let's do an example. So a survey is conducted to find out if citizens should think the local government should provide more money for youth activity. So the question that they use is, would you support an increase in tax to create more skate parks? Yep. So, would you support an increase in tax to create more skate parks? Which problem does this pose? Yeah. The way how the question is asked. Okay. Yep. Daniel?
Is there like be too specific? Like the thing before it said youth activities, and then now they're just saying skate park.
Right. Okay. So skate park. Yeah. Like what if people don't skate? So instead, yeah, they should have just said, would you support an increase in tax to create more youth activities? Okay. But still, is there something wrong with that sentence? Bias towards skater and bias. Yep. So the two problem is one is bias, okay, and two, uh, what do you think people will say? Would you support an increase in tax? Yeah. Okay. So use of language as well. Okay. So some of these it's common sense, but you have to know these terms right here. So the question on the test or assignment could be asking you guys, what potential problem does it pose? You need to be able to identify using one of these. Okay. A survey is conducted to find out the level of school spirit, and students are polled after the soccer team wins the championship. Okay. What problem does that pose? Timing, right? Of course, after you're winning a championship, everybody's celebrating and hype and everything. So timing is not. It's also that's a problem. Okay, good. Next example. Antonia wants to find out if there's a relationship between household income and how much people spend on Christmas presents. Identify the problems Antonia may encounter and explain how she could deal with the problems. Okay, household income versus Christmas presents. What problem? Sydney? Cultural sensitivity. Why? Yeah, not everyone celebrates Christmas. What else? There's one more. Sam? Privacy. That's right. Okay, you don't ask how much to make. Okay, so instead, how can I rephrase that question? How can I rephrase the question so that I don't bump into these two problems? Charles?
If you celebrate Christmas, how much money do you spend on average?
Okay. Uh, sure. So like break it into a two-part answer, or holiday gifts. Okay. Yeah. So instead of just Christmas specifically, you can say holiday gifts, or give them a range. This is how much I spent per year on um on gifts in a year. Okay. But see, we're already on to page 3. Okay, so now that we know how to make our question, the next thing is how do we collect that data? So obviously we can't, if the government, if it's like for example a government election and stuff, they want to know what people like and what people want, they're not gonna just like go door to door to door to door. They need some methods. So yes, you do need to know these 6 different types. All right. Uh, I won't ask you to define it. I just need you to know how to distinguish between them and like which is the better method to use. So there's simple random sampling. So it's just the basic one. You draw names out of a hat. Okay, everyone has the same chance of getting picked. Systematic. So this is every 5th person. So I'm just gonna survey every 10th person in the class, every 10th person in the class, and I'm gonna pick them like that. Right? So this one is the easy one to pick out because it's just like whenever you see every 10th, the 20th, the 30th, and so forth, then you know it's called systematic. All right. Self-selected sample is where you just uh, volunteer for the survey. So it's not you asking your friends, but it's the people. So you just post it and say whoever wants to call in the radio station for to participate, you can do so. Okay, so it's the other way around. So you choose to do the survey or not. Okay, convenient. So only people in the surrounding areas are surveyed, okay, because I am lazy. I want my data, but I don't want to spend effort and time. Okay, so that's convenient sampling. Okay, these two are the a little bit more confusing one. Right, so cluster sampling is, let's say for example this class, I just divide you guys into the left side and the right side group, and then I just randomly choose somebody from that side of the class and somebody from this side of the class. Okay, so that's cluster. I cluster you guys first into 2 groups or 3 groups or 5 groups, and then I choose one from each group. Stratify though is, let's say I could separate this class into boys and girls, and then I choose one from each group. Okay, so then I have a better representation of each. All right, and then to summarize, I have this little diagram right here. All right, to help you guys see the difference between these 4. And then you can see, like for example, this one, they're broken into the grades, and then I choose one from each group. Okay, I separate the class into 3 different groups of the same type, and then one from each. Okay. So example, page 5. So tell me which type of sampling methods would you suggest? So what type of sampling method is suggested here? Every student's name is put into a box, and 100 names are selected randomly. Yep. Simple random sampling. Yes, I do need to know that formal name. Okay. Every fifth person entering the school is selected. Systematic. Okay. Each person on the leadership team asks his or her friends. Yep. Not cluster. Yep. Convenient. Right. Okay. So I'm lazy. I'm just asking my friends. Okay. An announcement is made asking everyone who wished to participate to come fill out a ballot. Sydney. Self-selected. Right. Okay. So again, these seems very logic. Okay, it's common sense, but you do need to know these names. Okay, so you know what it means, but on a test or assignment, you need to be able to identify these. Okay, so now what about this scenario? And you tell me which one you would use. A company packages boxes of granola bar. The quality control manager inspects the first 5 boxes of each day to ensure that it has the same number of granola bars and the quality. Is this a good way of ensuring quality control? Yep. That's why I check the first 5 each day. So if one of those 5 has a problem, then I know. But what about the ones after for the rest of the day, right? So that's why it's not a good method. What method would you suggest then? Yep. Systematic. So like, yeah, maybe every 20th granola bar I'll check, or every 50th. Okay. Another one. Another one. Another method that you choose. Yeah. Yeah, simple random. So randomly just choose throughout the day. Okay. Okay. So last example. So using the data to construct a sample. So now we know how to phrase our question properly. We know how to um, collect our data. Now is putting it in action. So to actually design a plan, you need to 1, prepare the question, 2, identify the population and how to choose your sample, 3, how to actually put it in action and collect the data, and 4, using the data to display the data and analyze it. And number 4 is what we'll do tomorrow. Right? So suppose a frozen yogurt company considers adding a new flavor to its menu. Decide how to conduct a survey to determine whether the new flavor should be added. So let's say I make a strawberry banana coconut flavor. All right, I made it, and you taste it. All right. So how would you ask them if it's good or not and stuff? Create a scale, right? So you know how like at McDonald's or Tim Hortons they have that scale and say like this is disgusting or this tastes wonderful. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, yeah. So instead of just asking, do you like this? Do you not like this? That's That's pretty. That's yeah. That's like a grade 2 survey. Now you have to make a grade 9 survey. So then these type of surveys are much better. Um, and then how are you going to conduct your survey? Which method are you going to use? Which method would you use? Yusuf, what do you think? Which method of sampling would you use? Second method. Self-selected means you'll just ask your friends if they like this flavor. But remember, this is not for your own personal interest. This is like you're conducting this survey for the store or for the brand.
And also survey, like opening a stand and like giving free yogurt to anyone that wants to try it.
Okay.
Do survey.
Okay, sure. That with that explanation, then that's valid. So you could maybe do a stand with this new yogurt flavor, and then whoever wants to sample it, then they can do the survey. That's a good idea. Michelle? Systematic as well. So that way, you have a variety of people. Like you have kids, you have adults, you have men, you have women. All right. Yeah.
I think self-selecting would be good. You can just like you said, like from a stand and just like people who come up and try.
Yeah. So to in order to get this free sample, you have to fill out the survey. Force them to do something. No free food. Okay. And then how are we gonna collect this data then?
Right.
All right, but where? Like I meant where? Where are you gonna go?
So like after they fill out the survey, they can like drop it into a box
Okay, but where are you gonna set up that stand?
in front of the
Okay, in front of an ice cream store or okay, where in the grocery store? Frozen section, right? Alright, so if you stand at the chips aisle and then ask them, or no, if you go to like the organic food health section and do the survey, not many people will try this. Okay, but if you go to the frozen aisle section where the frozen yogurt is, once they like it, they might pick up. Right, just like Costco. That's why there's so much samples in Costco. Okay. And then to analyze the data, we can do like graphs and charts and these things, which, as we said, we will do tomorrow with the graphs. Okay. So that's today's lesson. Notice you guys didn't write a single number down. Okay, so there you go. So now you can pick up your pencil. Page 7 and 8. These are some questions that just like the ones that we discussed. Answers are on the bottom for you to check to make sure that you guys do understand it and it makes sense. Okay, so page 7 and 8, and see, just like that, you finish 8 pages. All right.